to start this morning with the Coastal Caucus, so hang tight. Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. Today is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, and we will call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. sharp. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again by pressing *6. It is very important for all others to please remain muted. So, good morning, everyone. It's a brisk, cool morning in Tillamook County. I know we have some representatives from the legislature on with us this morning, and I know they're probably missing meetings. So we'd like to start this morning with the Coastal Caucus. Who wants to start?
Rep. Weber, I know you're with us. I'll let you go first. And I'm not sure if Senator Armitage is not this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a circus, right? If I am allowed to speak right now. Good morning, everyone. It is chilly over here in the valley. It was 30 degrees this morning, and my car doors were frozen shut, and I went out to get in the car. But today, it's 2/2/2 of 2022, and it's a Tuesday, and it's a very special day because today is the day that House Bill 4053 will be voted on. And if anyone doesn't know, Highway 6, it is the Highway 6 study bill. And it passed out of committee unanimously, and now it's going to the floor. And so I've got stars in my eyes. We can start to look, hopefully, at changes that can be made to Highway 6. And so today's the day. I'm happy. And that's all I have to report today. I know that others have serious and important things to say also, but that is mine today. So thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Dave Gomberg here, and congratulations, Representative Weber, for moving that bill forward during this intense and short legislative session. Getting anything to the finish line is an accomplishment, and I know how hard you've worked on that. Pleased to be a co-sponsor in the effort. Commissioners, we are in week 4 right now. And just to try and put that in context for everybody, you well understand that every time a bill moves forward, there are notice requirements and necessary hearings and other procedural steps that take about a week to go through the hearings and another week to get to the House floor, and then a week to do Senate hearings, and then a week to get to the Senate floor. And what that means is that all of the bills that are being considered, not one of them has actually passed both chambers and gone to the governor yet, but they're all coming to a head, those that are moving. And a couple of weeks ago, I cautioned people that if they read about a bill that really gets them excited or concerned, to not get too overly heated about it unless they see that the bill is actually moving. And then when that happens, make sure you've read the amendments and see how the bill has changed. I put out a newsletter yesterday, and I gave an update on 20 pieces of legislation that I thought may be of interest to people. And they were all over the place. I mean, and these are the things that I'm getting mail about. The proposal for a sales tax on luxury items, dead on arrival, never even got a hearing. The bill on self-service gasoline, not a big deal in Tillamook County because of our population, we're already allowed to have self-service gas in Tillamook County, but I'm getting a lot of mail about that from other parts of my district. The bill is not moving. Of great concern and consequence is the proposal to pay agriculture workers overtime. That bill is continuing to move forward, but it's also continuing to be negotiated. So we'll see where that one lands. A bill that I testified on yesterday has to deal with places that you can recycle your electronic waste. And as of March 1st, we were going to be losing our major recycling center for electronic waste in Tillamook County and also in Lincoln County. And we put a bill together to try and keep those open so that people don't have to drive further to get rid of unique kind of recycling, and we're going to get that one fixed. Commissioners, I've continued to say that while the media attention and the focus of the session has been largely on these policy bills, I think that the real legacy of this session is going to be about money. That was true last session as well, when we brought home millions and millions of dollars from the federal government to spend on a lot of critical infrastructure projects. And I'm seeing that unfold again. And something remarkable happened the middle of last week. The Speaker of the House called me up and said, David, I want to put you on a special work group. There's going to be 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat, and we want the 4 of you to sort out where we invest $100 million in rural infrastructure across the entire state. Well, I've never seen a speaker give up that kind of decision-making so clearly before, and certainly not to the minority party, putting 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat in the group. I wasn't the least bit uncomfortable with the assignment because, working with the Coastal Caucus, we work every week more focused on geography than we are on partisanship. So I sat down with my 3 Republican colleagues over the course of 4 days, hammering out a series of proposals that are going to help fund water systems and sewer systems and community centers and public buildings and bridges all across the state of Oregon. And I think that's going to make a transformational difference. You know all too well that small communities are faced with these major expenses when their water systems start to age out well beyond their intended lifespan, and there's just not enough money in the community to replace a multi-million-dollar project. So I can't yet tell you what's on the list that has not been made public yet and will be in the next couple of days, but I can tell you that I think the Coast is going to be very, very pleased with the outcome, and that information is going to be released very, very soon. So those are a couple of things that I'm working on. The measures that are heading for Ways and Means are coming to a head as well, and we'll be quickly seeing bills come to the floor that have a price tag attached to them. It's going to be a roller coaster ride as we approach the finish line, and then we will be done by the 7th of March, so the latter part of next week. And with that, Commissioners, I'll pause and see if any of the senators were able to join us. If not, we'll take questions and then let you move on with the balance of your meeting.
Thank you, Representative Gomberg. I do see that Senator Armitage is with us this morning. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. As always, there's not a ton for me to cover that hasn't already been covered by Representatives Gomberg. I'm so sorry. Good morning. We are covering our CEI Hub bill, our cybersecurity of excellence, and our child care bill. Those are all in Ways and Means. Representative Weber is doing a great job on House Bill 4053, and I'm really excited to support that when it comes over to the House side. And Senator Anderson is also doing a great job. He carried a bill extending a deadline on a study relating to systems development charges and making sure that we can build more affordable housing in a way that works for our communities. It passed overwhelmingly. Again, doing a great job. And then, Representative Gomberg is doing great work making sure that Oregon's budget represents rural Oregon. I was so excited to see Commissioner Yamamoto in our joint committee on information management and technology last week advocating for Tillamook County. We did pass the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence out of that committee, and I look forward to seeing that bill move forward. And other than that, I've got to be quite honest. Your representatives and your senators are people, and getting up at 5 a.m. to travel all the way over to Salem and not having our coffee quite on time. And so, gosh, we're forgetting our most basic words. So if you'll forgive me for that, but working really hard in Salem and making sure that the Oregon legislature and the things that come out of the Oregon legislature speak to the real needs of people in this county and on the coast. I just want to echo again that I'm so excited to be a part of a delegation that's doing just fabulous work. And I do want to congratulate one more time Representative Weber on 4053, which is very exciting, and on 2/22/2022, no less. I think that's a really magical thing. So congratulations, Representative. And thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you so much, Senator, for being here. And I want to thank you for the invitation that you extended to me to testify before the Joint Legislative Committee on Information Management and Technology. It was great to be there. Great to see you there. You asked some terrific questions. Our ransomware attack that we had on Tillamook County just a short couple of years ago was kind of devastating to us. But that's why this bill is so important. So we do appreciate that very much. Do we have Senator Anderson with us this morning? Don't believe so. So do we have any questions for anyone in our Coastal Caucus? So I know especially the Coastal Caucus is extremely busy. You're probably just chomping at the bit to get to your meetings. So thank you so much for being here this morning. Tillamook County really does appreciate it so much. Thank you. So let's go back to the top of our agenda. And do we have Eric Swanson with Adventist Health?
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. We have 14 patients in the hospital today. No COVID patients, which is great news. No patients boarding in the emergency department, more good news. I don't have today's surgery schedule. Yesterday we did 8 surgery cases, all were elective or non-urgent. Ambulance transported 5 911 patients yesterday, no transfers or no transports home. Because of the holiday weekend, the Oregon Health Authority has not submitted their newest report. We'll get that today, which will cover Friday through Monday. So I'm going back to Thursday. So this is just the Thursday data point that they sent out Friday morning. The number of hospitalized patients with COVID-19 across Oregon is 741. 47 fewer than yesterday. There are 126 COVID-19 patients in intensive care unit beds, which is 21 fewer than yesterday. 60 of those were on ventilators. They have 840 ventilators across Oregon. There are 85 adult ICU beds out of 682. That's 12% availability for the state. In the region, we had 40 available, or 12%. 280 available adult non-ICU beds out of 4,305, which is 7% availability. And in the region, we had 50 available, which is 3% availability. And on February 17, OHSU published their COVID forecast. And on the 17th, they reported that 788 people were in Oregon hospitals with COVID, which is a sharp drop from 1,055 on February 8th. All regions in Oregon are showing significant declines. As of the 15th, 24% of occupied ICU beds in Oregon had COVID patients in them, down from 27% the week before. Looks like our peak for COVID hospitalizations was on the 27th with 1,130. 15 children in Oregon are in Oregon hospitals with COVID. That's a steep drop from the peak of 43 on February 3rd. And the number of people in hospitals is expected to dip below 400 on March 20th. So all good news from the hospital standpoint. So unless you've got questions for me, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you so much, Eric. Do we have questions for Eric? Eric, I have one. Sorry about that.
Lay it on me.
Do you think that, everyone has been talking about herd immunity for 2 years now. Do you think we have reached something near herd immunity? Is that why the numbers might be falling off so drastically?
Well, I'll start with I'm not qualified to answer that question. I know nothing about epidemiology. All right. I just think that I don't know. I honestly don't know, and I don't want to give an opinion that I can't back up with any data. I'm just grateful that we're moving to a position that hopefully, as the variants, the next variants come, they'll be less and less severe. That's what I hope for our community. that people may get COVID, but they don't get sick from it. You know, I personally, I can just tell you, I've had 3 friends with COVID. All of them were vaccinated, and they were homesick, and they didn't have to come to the hospital. And last thing I want is members of our community hospitalized with this disease. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you there. You got to ask somebody a lot smarter than me.
Thank you for that, Eric. I do appreciate it, and I know everyone in Tillamook County really appreciates everything that you and Adventist Health do for Tillamook County. So, thank you again. Any other questions for Eric before we let him go? Thank you, Eric. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the Tillamook County Community Health Center with maybe Marlene Putman and or Ed Colson.
Well, good morning, Commissioner Yamamoto. It's Ed Colson this morning here. And the same thing, good morning. The same thing, we have we're waiting on data. We'll have more at the end of today because of the holiday. But some just general announcements that we do have COVID-19 home test kits available still at all Tillamook County Library branches. So please stop by during business hours to pick one up. And please limit to taking 1 test kit, which includes 2 tests inside per person. So once again, our condensed case report due to the holiday closure, cases continue to decline. We'll have that full report available online later today. But as of the entire month of February, all the way from the 1st through the 17th, we've had 290 cases. Total cases to date since March 2020 through February, 3,550. We have had 58 COVID-19 related deaths. 43 being unvaccinated, 14 vaccinated, and 1 did not have a record in the alert database. We've had 133 COVID-19 related hospitalizations. As far as our outbreaks per OHA, we have 6 reported, 13 under monitoring, giving us a total of 19. We've had nearly 85% of those 18 and older who have received 1 dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and nearly 70% of Tillamook County residents of all ages have received at least 1 dose. 77% of those 18 and older are fully vaccinated, and 64% of Tillamook County are considered fully vaccinated there. As far as our testing and vaccines, testing and vaccines are available for most healthcare providers in Tillamook County. So while COVID-19 vaccines are the best method of prevention, reducing disease spread and reducing disease severity, if you do have a positive test, we do have safe and early treatment options available for COVID-19, which include antiviral oral medication. So some treatment options do need to be started as early as 5 days from the date of the positive test. So please contact your provider as soon as possible for treatment options. If you do not have a healthcare provider, you can call Adventist Pharmacy, and their phone number is at 503-815-2341, and speak to a pharmacist and consider establishing care with a healthcare provider as soon as possible. So more information on COVID-19 testing, treatment, care, and vaccines is available on our website, tillamookchc.org, or by calling 211. If anybody does have any COVID-19 related questions or needs additional support, our public health nurse line is available at 503-842-3940, and we aim to return calls within 24 business hours. So that's our condensed update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions there.
Thank you so much, Ed. Appreciate that. And do we have any questions for Ed? Thank you, Ed, for being here. Appreciate it so much. Let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Do we have Gail Nelson with us this morning?
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We have hired our transportation driver, Ron, and last week started offering patient transportation to those who have challenges getting to and from their healthcare appointments to see our providers, including a naturopath, a doctor, family nurse practitioners, or an acupuncturist. We also received our allotment of COVID test kits and N95 masks and have been distributing since last week. If you know of anyone who is homebound and needs COVID tests or masks, please let us know at 800-368-5182. Our reminder, our pharmacy is open 8 to 1 and 2 to 5, closed for lunch. And please Do not hesitate to call us with any questions or concerns that you may have. If you are experiencing COVID-like symptoms, our staff can be reached again at 800-368-5182. That's my update for this chilly morning.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate that very much. Do we have any questions for Gail? Let's move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hanna-Williams. Frank, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Hey, good morning.
Frank Hanna-Williams. Good morning. Frank Hanna-Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. I'd like to say that our parenting series called Active Parenting has been going on for the past few weeks and has been very successful so far. And we have a significant number of parents who are participating. And we'd like to, while this group is not going to be adding a lot of new members, we want to continue by seeing if there are other family members who we may be able to begin another group for. And parenting supports are a very important thing at this time, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to do that. So if you have any questions or concerns or want to find out about the parenting series, please give us a call, 503-842-8201. And for any other behavioral health concerns, please call us at that number. That is my report for today, and we'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that so much. Do we have any questions for Frank? Hearing none, let's move on to the... Thank you, Frank. Let's move on to the Sheriff's Office. Do we have Sheriff Brown with us this morning? How about
this is Sheriff Brown. I'm here. Good morning.
Okay. Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good. So just a couple things. I had the opportunity last week to go down and have lunch with and speak to the NESCO Women's Group, the NESCO Women's Group. I had a really good time. It was a wonderful opportunity to be able to meet them and have discussions with them. They really are just a really good group of ladies. Very passionate about South County and what's best for South County. Like I said, it was the first time I'd met them and first opportunity I had, and I really had a good time. And I publicly want to say thank you to them for inviting me, and hopefully I'll be able to speak with them again in the future. So another thing is Saturday night, I attended a First Responders Appreciation Gala that was put on by the Pacific Northwest Fire Relief Group, the nonprofit group. That group is really spread to be very focused on community-oriented type matters, as well as being as supportive as they can to first responders across the board. Kind of the ringleader of it all, and I'll publicly thank him as well, as Jesse Burrow. I know that most everybody, at least in this group, is probably familiar with Jesse. He takes on many ventures and seems to do really well at rallying people. This was pretty much just an appreciation for first responders across Tillamook County, and it was a very good time, nice and relaxed. He said a lot of nice things. I know that organization has others in it, and there were a lot of people that helped do it. Trying not to forget them or thank them, but thank you to all of them as well. So that was very fun and very appreciated. So I attended that as well. And just a reminder that we're going to be part of the job fair at the fairgrounds this week. It's Thursday the 24th. I believe it runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have some of our deputies and a sergeant there be able to answer questions and paperwork, things like that. So if you have any interest or know anybody that does have interest, please encourage them to attend that and come have some discussions. Additionally, just another reminder that we're having a open house, just a nice, relaxed open house for our search and rescue program. It's going to be at the ATV building at the back end of the property for the sheriff's office. And, it'll just be an opportunity to talk to some of our deputies and see some of the equipment and answer any questions. Of course, there'll be applications there. And essentially, if you've ever had any questions or thought maybe search and rescue was for you but not quite sure, this is hopefully will be a good opportunity to help make the determination if it is or not. So again, that's Saturday the 26th from 2 to 4 at the ATV building on the Sheriff's Office property. So with that, that's all I have for today, and I can take questions if needed.
Thank you, Sheriff. And yes, the NESCO Women's Club is a terrific group. That they really are. Any questions,
I
Sheriff
agree.
Brown? Sheriff, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Let's move on to emergency management. I don't think Randy Thorpe is with us this morning. Just want to make sure. Randy Thorpe, are you here? I thought he was going to the airport this morning. But I know we do. I bet you we have Gordon McCraw. Gordon, are you with us?
But of course, good morning to everyone. As usual, the weather is taking a headline for the coast and really all of the Portland forecasting area. This morning, you guys, while you dropped to 30 degrees for a low, with the gusty winds, it was feeling like the mid-20s. Your current temperature's running in the mid-30s, and the high today, even with the clear skies, is only going to reach 42, but with the wind chill, it's going to still feel like the mid-30s. Tonight looks like it'll be the coldest night with the lows dropping down to around 20, but with the gusty winds still, it's going to feel like the single digits. Tomorrow's high is forecasted to be around 41, not as breezy. The wind chill will still be in the mid to upper 30s, but the temperature with the increase in clouds is only going to fall to, I say only going to fall to around 27 tomorrow night. The preparedness me reminds everyone that spending time outside they should be alert for hypothermia, so dress appropriately and remember at these temperatures the wind chill could actually cause your body tissue to freeze quicker and cause frostbite. So wear layers and a hat and cover as much skin as you can out in those temperatures and the winds. And don't forget to protect your pipes, your pets, and your outside faucets. I had to go get the covers and put them on mine yesterday. It's forecast to go down to 15 over here. So Thursday, there's a slight chance of some snow in the early morning hours where the disturbance is going to pass by, but the lows Thursday night are forecasted to be around 28. Friday, they have another system approaching, so we have another system approaching. So the weekend looks like we will stay above freezing all day and all night. Good news. So that's really all I have, and thank you very much, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Gordon. Appreciate it very much. Do we have any questions for Gordon? Thanks, Gordon. Let's move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, I am. Hey, would you mind if we invite Cammie Von Sagern to speak? Because I had a meeting with Cammie late last week, and I believe she had something she wanted to share this morning.
Absolutely. Cammie, are you around? Cammie Von Sagern?
Well, if not, I'll go ahead and talk, and if she's struggling to unmute, she can jump in when I'm done.
Perfect.
I wanted to let the community know that we had an outstanding meeting about broadband on Friday. It was a meeting of the boards of Tillamook Lightwave, Port of Tillamook Bay, Tillamook People's Utility District, and the Board of County Commissioners. And we were collaborating on the steps forward, where we're at with broadband now, what we need, and the steps forward, what we're going to need to do to get to where we want to be, so that affordable high-speed internet could be available in all of the places in our county where it is not currently available. So I just thought that meeting was very, very positive, and I'm really grateful to everyone who participated, everyone who's working on this project. I thought we got a lot done. It was a 3-hour workshop. Bev Stein facilitated for us. She did a great job. we covered a lot of ground. We came up with some action plans, and I feel good about the path forward. So I'll stop talking about that because I'm sure my fellow commissioners might want to chime in on that subject. I also wanted to talk about another meeting I was in on Friday that was about emergency preparedness, and it was about emergency cyber preparedness. And so this is very interesting and concerning. And the topic is the potential conflict between Russia and the Ukraine, which, if you're anything like me, you might have been following that thinking, well, that's terrible, but it's not here. You know, sometimes when terrible things are going on in the world, I compartmentalize them in my mind to, you know, well, that's awful, and it's not here. It's not going to influence my community or my family. However, it was brought to our attention on Friday that might not be true of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, that in fact it could impact us in terms of cyber warfare. So there's a credible threat that you may have heard on the news because they made it publicly, that Russia would launch cyber attacks on Ukraine's allies. And so the United States has, there's a lot of saber rattling. The United States has said, we will strike back with our own cyber attack. However, I don't believe that we've said we can block anything you throw at us. So the concern is that if all of this progresses, worst case scenario, if all of this progresses, we could have power outages in the United States, lengthy power outages. The Russia could attack our power grids, or they could attack the fuel distribution, etc. So it's disturbing to think about, but we should be thinking about it. And it seems like a new facet of emergency preparedness, because cyber warfare very likely is the future of warfare. And so for us practically, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it could happen, and it's to our benefit to be thinking about it and preparing now. And so what that could look like, what we should be asking ourselves is, what would it look like if we didn't have power or fuel for 30 days? What would that look like for our businesses, for our healthcare providers, for our families, for our schools? Do we have generators? Do we have fuel for generators? What would it look like, boiled down for our families? What would it look like if we were camping in our houses for a month? So I ask everybody to pause and give that some thought. And if you're so inclined, start making preparations, because hopefully this won't be any more than a preparedness exercise. It could happen. It could not happen at all. It could happen in other parts of the country, but it could also happen here. So let's go through the preparedness exercise and think about how we can take care of ourselves in the event that of a cyber attack. So I think that's all I have for now. Other than to say that we'll be convening a meeting to talk about this with other community leaders this week with Gordon. So now I think that's all I have to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Well, I will make reference just briefly to the meeting that Commissioner Bell spoke about. It was, as she stated and characterized it, a great meeting. The Tillamook Light Wave Intergovernmental Agency has been around for more than 20 years, owning much of the broadband infrastructure here in the county, and it has really been for business and government. And so now the conversation is really about how do we bring that to the residents of Tillamook County? How do we expand to provide service to every household? So it's a great conversation, and I look forward to sort of next steps in that as we determine what everyone's role will be, what the funding will pay for, and how we can make this happen. But it is a unique time in our history as the government looks at broadband more as a utility at this point, and really is recognizing that it needs to be to every household. So funding is out there in a way it's never been, and we're definitely working to make sure we get that funding into Tillamook County and expand the broadband access. So it was a very exciting meeting. I also had an opportunity on Friday to attend the Forest Trust Lands Advisory Council, or FTLAC, meeting, which is a group of all of the counties that have state forest lands in our counties that are managed by the state, and we have a revenue sharing relationship. It was a really interesting meeting. It was an opportunity that Commissioner Yamamoto may speak a little bit more about, but for us to share with some Board of Forestry members who were in attendance what happens to the timber revenues once they come to the counties. And I think this is something that many of us don't know. And I know I didn't know the exact numbers and the breakdown and how it worked. I know that forest revenues, timber revenues, are crucial to our community and to running our county government. So our county government relies on those for about a third of our general fund budget, which is really critical. Without that, there are services that we just wouldn't be able to provide. But what was interesting is when we look at the amount of revenue, recognizing that the rest of that revenue, roughly 66% of what comes into Tillamook County, goes to our schools. And this revenue is crucial to our school funding. But it was also interesting to recognize that while 66% of that revenue goes to our schools, it doesn't create schools that have more funding than others in the state of Oregon. It simply replaces what would be state money. So it's a challenging balance there to look at and say if the state decides to change how they harvest on our forests, they really are shooting themselves in the foot, because that money would have to come back to us from other state resources. So very complex conversation, but for me as a 1 year in roughly commissioner, it was helpful to understand that the timber revenue, 6% to schools. There are other districts that are supported, and then finally about a third of that to the county, which wouldn't be replaced by the state should they choose to change how they harvest on our land. So important conversation, and one that I think we all need to be aware of as we look at upcoming changes that will happen in the forest management plan and in the upcoming word wearing out of my head, but there is a plan at the state level, which is being pushed up to the federal level, that would require us to put certain amounts of these lands in conservation and wouldn't be able to harvest on them because we need to save them for habitat and other things. So it's a conversation that's underway, and it's just important for us to understand the revenue piece of this as well as what we do want to preserve. So I probably just did a confusing job that I'm sure Commissioner Yamamoto could do a better job, but understanding the importance of these revenues to our county. I will make a couple quick announcements. The Warming Center was open last night, and I believe will continue to be open through this week at the Western Royal Hotel. It is a first come, first serve for those experiencing homelessness, and I just encourage folks to let others know that it is open with the very, very cold temperatures this week. And with that, I will turn it back to Commissioner Yamamoto to untangle everything I said about forest revenue. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Scar. No, you did a great job. Appreciate that very much. So I'll keep talking about timber since Commissioner Scar brought it up. I do want to mention that today, in just about 20 minutes, oral arguments are going to start in the Oregon Court of Appeals on the Linn County class action lawsuit. So this is something that we won over 2 years ago in Linn County, $1.065 billion settlement. And that includes interest at the state mandated rate of 9%. So interest is accruing on that $1.065 billion at $262,000 every day. It was not unanticipated, but the state did indeed take this to the Oregon Court of Appeals. And again, oral arguments are scheduled for today at 9 o'clock. You can actually listen in, and everything is virtual at the Oregon Court of Appeals right now. Our attorneys, the state attorneys, everyone, the judges, they're all attending this oral argument virtually. So if you go to the Oregon Court of Appeals website, you can find the login for if you want to listen in to the oral arguments. It may take 6, 8, 10 months for them to make a decision after oral arguments are complete. But the interesting thing is, by the questions that the judges are asking, I think you can probably get an idea of what they're thinking. So, and if you can't log on at 9, it's my understanding that the video recording of that will be available possibly as early as this evening. So stay tuned to that. That's going to be very interesting. Commissioner Scar did a great job on the Forest Trust Lands Advisory Council and the fights that we're having with the Department of Forestry right now. And yes, so we talked about timber revenue, and again, that's an important part of Tillamook County. The county itself keeps about 28% of the timber revenue that comes in, and of course that goes to all of our general fund departments. Sheriff's Office being probably the largest general fund department that we have. One of the points I wanted to make with the Board of Forestry members that were there was the fact that the timber revenue is important. It is, not only to the county, but to the 20 special districts in the county. But even more important than that are the jobs. The timber-related jobs are definitely family wage, fully benefited jobs. And it provides over $42 million a year in revenue to Tillamook County, just in the way of jobs and wages. But at the same time, that type of money, when it's earned by a family in the timber industry, it gets rolled over again and again and again. People spend that money at Fred Meyer's or Safeway, or they buy an automobile, they buy clothes, they buy appliances, they buy furniture here in Tillamook County. That supports that many more jobs. And then those employees, again, re-spend that money in Tillamook County again and again and again. I've heard multiplier effects of 10 to 14 times. So yes, the timber revenue is important to Tillamook County, but even more important, and this is the point we were trying to make with the Board of Forestry, are the jobs. The jobs are extremely important in rural counties. So that's one of the things that happens. And I want to talk about public works for just a moment. We constantly hear complaints about our roads and the potholes and all. Well, you have to understand that historically, especially in the state of Oregon, roads, public works departments across the state were and are funded by federal timber harvest. So that's U.S. Forest Service mostly. At one point in time, a generation or two ago, we had over 50 employees. That's when timber harvest on U.S. Forest Service land was really going well. We had over 50 people in our public works department. And interestingly, we took care of roads at that point that were not county roads, but we had the personnel, we had the money, so our public works department at that point in time was maintaining all of the roads in Tillamook County. Well, over the past couple of decades, that timber revenue has absolutely plummeted on U.S. Forest Service land. Today, our public works department is 13, 15 people, and it's a skeleton of what they should be. So now, Chris Lady at Public Works and all the staff there are doing a terrific job of keeping our roads drivable with the monies that they have. Interestingly enough, when the transient lodging tax was put into effect, the commissioners at that time determined that the 30% of the transient lodging tax dollars, 30% that we could do whatever we wanted with, they put that 30% into public works to help maintain our roads. Today, the transient lodging tax dollars that go to our Public Works Department is well over a third of their budget. So, with the limited dollars that they have, they're doing a great job. When you have to replace culverts with bridges and things like that, which are very expensive today, it's an unending battle. So I just wanted to make that reference also to timber revenue. I just got back from Washington, D.C. It was an exhausting trip, but I think we got a lot done there. You've heard me talk about the NOAA Fisheries FEMA biological opinion. You probably heard me talk about last July when I was there at the annual meeting for NACO, the National Association of Counties. I was able to pass a resolution at NACO in two steering committees, both unanimously about the buyout. So when I went back this last week, talking to staff, we are working on a plan, a strategy because after they're done with Oregon, they have stated that they are rolling this nationwide. So counties across the nation now are very concerned about what's happening. So we're coming up with a strategy to attend to this in Congress. We have been asked by a couple of our legislators to come up with some legislative language that they could carry in the House and Senate in Washington, D.C. So we're working on that. We are making some progress. It's slow, and we don't know what finally might happen, but it's going to be very interesting to see. This is a push that we absolutely need to win. This NOAA Fisheries FEMA biological opinion, if it goes into effect as it currently stands, is really going to be very, very difficult on Tillamook County. It just will be. So we need to pay attention to that. I guess so there was one other issue at the top of my list. You may or may not know, depending on how closely you're following the Board of Commissioners office, we are working on a new communication system within Tillamook County. Our sheriff's office, all the police departments, ambulance service, 911, public works departments, everyone uses our radio system. It's a 20-year-old system. We have so many dead areas. Our sheriff's office deputies, our fire and rescue, they all know where the dead spots are. Our sheriff's office is very reluctant to pull someone over in an area where they don't have radio communications. It's a life, health, safety issue. So Rachel Haggerty in our office has been working diligently on trying to come up with a new system. We have it engineered. We're well on our way. The problem is it's about $20 million. We've got everyone on board, all the fire districts, the sheriff's office, the police departments, the cities. Everyone is on board. Everyone realizes the problem we have with our communication system. So one of the things that I was doing when I was in Washington, D.C., this is the perfect time to be asking for money because there is a ton of infrastructure money. Matter of fact, we have representatives from Ron Wyden's office coming to Tillamook on Thursday. And we're going to meet with them. We're going to be talking about broadband. We're going to be talking about the NOAA Fisheries FEMA buyout. And we're going to be talking about our communication system. Every dollar that we can get from the federal government reduces the cost issue for Tillamook County. So, again, there's just so much going on. I'm sure you're tired of hearing from me at this point. So why don't we move on? So let's go to the city of Manzanita. Mike Scott.
Morning. I just wanted to remind everyone that our monthly Planning Commission meeting is today at 4 o'clock. It's usually on the third Monday of the month, but because of the President's Day holiday, we're doing it today. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Appreciate you being here. City of Nehalem. How about anyone from the city of Wheeler? City of Rockaway Beach? Anyone from the city of Garibaldi?
Good morning, Mayor Kim Hall here.
Good morning, Mayor.
Yes, we have our regular city council meeting this evening at 6:30. We have a pretty long agenda, which would include summer part-time firefighters. We're looking at a Coast Guard designation program for the city. Also, we are looking to accept a PUD donation of a lot for a future fire training center, and we're quite happy about that. We will also be discussing the action plan that the city engaged in order to address past financial issues. That's all that I have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you being here. How about Mayor McCall from Bay City?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So tonight at 5:30, we will have our Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting. That's 5:30 in the community hall. All are welcome to attend and work with us as we better prepare our citizens and city for any disasters or incidents that may come. I'd also like to just state again, we are currently looking for 3 members to serve on our Planning Commission and 4 members to serve on our Budget Committee. So Bay City residents, please consider donating a little time to your city's form of government in the form of the Planning Commission and or Budget Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor McCall. Nathan George, Tillamook, are you with us?
Good morning, Commissioner. I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. All right. I do have a few announcements. Thank you. To make the best for drier weather this week, the Public Works Department will be working on various road maintenance projects, especially filling potholes in the streets throughout the city this week. We ask everyone to please be cautious of all workers and equipment. If you see a pothole, you may report it to the city by phone or email. Just a reminder of the Service Line Warranties of America program that provide warranties to property owners for sewer, water, and indoor plumbing. The first mailer went out to all residents on February 15th, and the second mailer will go out on March 15th. We'll also be posting that information on our website and on Facebook. For roughly $10 per service per month, whether for your water line, sewer lateral line, or even indoor plumbing, you can receive unlimited repair calls and service. For water and sewer, the service pays up to $8,500 per call and up to $3,000 per call for indoor plumbing. Their dispatch is staffed 24/7 and uses local contractors. The city is partnered with this company, and the flyers will include our city logo. Anyone with questions is encouraged to contact the city of Tillamook. We highly recommend that you sign up for this warranty, especially if your lines are older or not recently replaced. The Tillamook Police Department shared the following on the city's Facebook page, which is from Care Inc. Facebook page posted yesterday, quote, "The Warming Center is open tonight, February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, Monday through Wednesday, from 8 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. The Warming Center is located at the Western Royal Inn in Tillamook in room 232. Check-ins until 10 p.m. After that, only by law enforcement if there's availability. Please help us spread the word and keep the most vulnerable in our community safe during this cold weather event." Furthermore, CARE also stated this is a first-come, first-served basis with limited availability. It is non-congregate shelter with a maximum of 2 individuals per room. They consider themselves a household. If they are a family, they will accommodate them in one room. Hours of operation, again, are 8 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And also, thank you for keeping our family, friends, community members to your houses this winter safe and warm. For your information, they're also looking for the Warming Center, bottled hot chocolate or hot cocoa mixes, teas, oatmeal, warm cereals, protein bars, crackers, snacks, cookies, and soups, preferably cups of top ramen. You can donate these non-perishable single-serve items to the CARE office at 2310 First Street, Tillamook. The city recently purchased 2 fully equipped police cars from the city of Beaverton as part of our fleet management program. We got them for $5,000 a piece. It's absolutely amazing. They're fully equipped and in great shape. This will replace our old vehicle and take our entire police department and fleet to where it needs to be with good vehicles. We are excited to announce that we will be conducting interviews for our police department openings. We hope to fill at least 2 of these open positions, and then at that point we'll be able to start the process of filling the assignment of the school resource officer with an experienced officer, as the city will have sufficient resources to have that officer dedicated to school district number 9. The Tillamook Urban Renewal Agency still has openings to serve on its board. If you're interested in our community and to help and provide funding for building and construction, please go to the city's website or contact the city's planning department. The city has a public hearing for a zoning ordinance on March 3rd, 2022. The proposed amendment would remove references to off-street parking and design standards for accessory dwelling units. We ask you to please see the city's website for more information or contact the city's planning department by phone or email. We have our second monthly council meeting tonight at City Hall. There is a work session at 6 p.m. with several topics on the agenda. I encourage you to take a look online and attend if you'd like. There's also a regular meeting at 7 p.m. Both meetings are open to the public, and we encourage you to either attend in person or via video conference. You can get the instructions for the video conferencing as well as read the agenda and all the attachments by going to the city's website at www.tillamookor.gov. And city council meetings are always on the first and third Monday of the month. The only two exceptions are when the holiday falls on falls on a Monday, and in that case becomes a Tuesday, or if, in some cases the meeting is canceled, which is rare. Finally, kind of exciting news, If I Were a Mayor contest 2022 is posted on the city's website. This is for our youth from 4th grade through 12th grade with different categories depending on the grade they're in. The city will be providing 3 prizes for the best 3 local entries, including gift cards for second and third place, and for the grand prize, they'll get to have lunch with Mayor Burris, as well as the opportunity to make the announcements at a council meeting. These 3 entries will then be entered into the statewide contest for a chance to win up to $500 during the Oregon Mayors Association Conference in Newport, Oregon this year. And there's more information on our website about that, as I said. So that's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. I think I would love to join that If I Were Mayor contest. I think that would be great. I would love to do that. Thank you so much. Okay, South County, Doug Olson. Doug, bring us home. Doug, are you with us? I'll bet you he is on his way to Tillamook. We do have a Tillamook Lightwave meeting starting at 9:30, so I'm sure he's driving currently. Okay, so with that, I want to thank everyone for being here, but a special thanks to KTIL for broadcasting, and again, thanks everyone for attending. With that, we will adjourn this community call at 8:57 a.m. Thank you, everyone.